Mission title, Chapter 1, Eternal Kingdom Dungeon, Leader of the Houndhead Men, Crammer completed. Obtaining reward. When Crammer's huge body collapsed with a loud thud in a pool of its own blood, an information cue flashed before all the participating gamers. Even Rainto, who didn't fight, had a reward because they carried a few rounds of bricks. Sherlock welcomed pro-life gamers like Rainto, who cultivated flowers, looked blankly at the soil, and carried bricks. He also welcomed other gamers who sought excitement at the risk of death. To Sherlock, although their suicidal feats were pathetic, their diligent work in constructing the dungeon was impressive. After killing Crammer, the gamers dragged their dead comrades and Crammer's corpse back to the dungeon. Sherlock didn't observe the gamers any longer. Instead, he left the dungeon core and looked for Simba. According to Brew, after defeating the boss, the goblins had to be awarded equipment and huge amounts of money. Sherlock's main plot mission had large amounts of reputation points and money as rewards, but it was lacking in equipment rewards. Sherlock wouldn't visit Winterfell to buy good equipment for the gamers. Aside from the Diamond Seam, Eternal Kingdom also had adamantine ore. Diamond Seam was the lowest grade ore, so it didn't produce quality weapons. Adamantine was good, but before upgrading the blacksmith shop, there was no way to refine it. Moreover, adamantine had great magical conductivity, and it would be a waste to use it for weapons and armor. Sherlock wanted to keep the adamantine ore for making an alchemist platform or a teleport portal foundation. Otherwise, he could sell it for a good price. What about the equipment? Sherlock had thought of a good solution. Crammer's armor and hammer were very good candidates. Sherlock didn't feel any mana ripples on Crammer's equipment, so they were made of high-quality ores. Sherlock couldn't identify the quality, but he had no issues giving them out as a reward. The huge size of the armor and hammer weren't suitable for the gamers, but Simba could modify them. Sherlock looked for Simba because of this. I understand Lord Sherlock's intention. As for how many sets of goblin equipment I can make, it depends on the equipment size and material, Simba said after hearing Sherlock's request. After informing Simba, Sherlock heard Brew suggest, Lord Sherlock, I have a suggestion regarding the boss reward. Crammer's equipment is much stronger than our Diamond Seam equipment. Its requirement could be set at reputation level 2, and its quality set as superior. But there's a big problem: equipment lost after death. Is that an issue? To make them work hard, I have to squeeze them dry of their coins so that they have to work to earn money to buy equipment. When they lose equipment after death, they have to work harder. If they have what they want, they won't work hard. Sherlock looked at the nearby Simba preparing meals and said, what motivates Simba to prepare meals and forge? Besides sleeping, there's only work. Is it because of love, responsibility? No, it's being poor. Poverty is a huge motivator for diligence. Hence, most of the gamers are kept poor to make them work hard. Lord Sherlock, you are right, and it has truth to it, but do consider this. While the gamers are working hard, we have to provide entertainment and ensure their happiness. They are already having a tough and unfair life in their world. In this world, if they lose their hard-earned boss reward due to death, that penalty would be too cruel. Bruce said, the Diamond Seam weapons can be bought, and coins can be earned, but, if lost, unique equipment will be gone forever. A lot of gamers would stop playing and end their master-servant relationship. Even if they don't escape the dungeon, it will cause the gamers to fight over the unique equipment. I think Lord Sherlock wouldn't want such things to happen. The consequences sound serious. Sherlock nodded and said, so, your suggestion is to make the unique weapons not easily lost, is that correct? That's correct, Lord Sherlock. You can use me to bind the equipment and gamers together, like soul binding. Other gamers will then be unable to use the equipment, so they won't fight among themselves to obtain the equipment. Devils who are adept in contracts could achieve this as well. We can make equipment that won't be easily lost. This will improve the gamer's sense of belonging to Eternal Kingdom, elevate their mood, and cause them to work extremely hard in the dungeon. You make sense. Though it will consume my mana to bind the equipment and gamers, if they work hard to carry bricks, I think it's worthwhile. Sherlock nodded. As for making equipment that won't be easily lost, I can spend some money to buy small items for a dual teleport spell. One would be put in the dungeon, and the other imprinted on the equipment. When doing the soul binding, I can do an explanation for the agreement, and it would prevent the equipment from being lost after the gamers perish. That's great, Lord Sherlock. If you do that, we will be able to announce the game upgrade patch on the official website and give notice of this new equipment capability. The gamers will be overjoyed by your grand design. Bruce spoke as though he was making a solemn vow. Sherlock wasn't looking forward to the gamers' joy. He was concerned about whether the gamers would work hard without pay and supervision. To obtain such an effect, he had to let the gamers earn for metal coins and reputation points, especially metal coins. He had to keep them poor so that they would work hard to earn money while feeling happy. Sherlock would be very pleased. Sherlock thought of a good idea to achieve his goal of becoming the greatest devil king and building the grandest dungeon. Brew, since I will be spending effort and mana for this unique equipment, I would like to make a profit from it. Using the game upgrade announcement, I thought of a good way to obtain their metal coins. Lord Sherlock's intention is? We'll hold a full-service auction of the equipment, then I'll impose a 20%, no, 30% tax. The remaining bronze coins will be equally distributed to the gamers who participated in the battle. Brew remained silent for a while and understood Sherlock's intention. Lord Sherlock, are you a devil? Yes, a superior devil. The gamers happily brought back Crammer's corpse to the dungeon. They stripped him of all items, which included an unfinished steak, tattered underwear, nail files, mysterious lipstick, and a Houndhead mistress novel and other trash. Why were they called trash? Because Lord Sherlock said so. The most valuable items were Crammer's armor and huge hammer. Even the gamers knew they were awesome equipment. This was because their attacks weren't able to damage the armor's defenses, and because the hammer could easily crush their Diamond Seam armor. The gamers placed the weapon and armor in front of Sherlock as they looked in anticipation at the great devil lord who would be appraising the equipment. They were expecting their rewards for defeating the boss. The gamers escorted Sherlock to Simba's blacksmith shop. Simba looked at the equipment and gave an okay hand gesture as he said, this is a weapon made of metal. I can produce 2 sets of armor and weapons suitable for goblins, but I need a day. What weapons should I make? Should I start now, Lord Sherlock? The gamers broke into wild chatters. Gosh, the reward isn't instantly made. It's surreal. I thought it would be like opening a treasure chest. Can I choose my own weapon? I want a green dragon crescent blade. Forget about it. This weapon isn't for you. The rich will have paid for it. With such good equipment, the rich won't dare step outside the dungeon. Ha ha ha. The equipment will be lost if one dies. I think it might be like that. Sherlock exerted his dominance to silence the chatting goblins and gestured for Simba to wait for a while. As Simba stared wide-eyed, Sherlock opened up his cloak and spoke loudly. My loyal citizens of Eternal Kingdom, your bravery shocked the entire Underworld. The notorious and feared Crammer will no longer threaten us. To reward your excellent feats, I, Dungeon Lord Sherlock, shall reward you handsomely. After Sherlock finished his passionate speech, Brew announced a full service notice. Details of the reward will be published on the official website and discussion forum. Before the gamers had the chance to cheer, Simba crushed Crammer's head like a mosaic with his hammer. He blew his beard and shouted, D***amen. So you're Crammer. After Sherlock placated the hot-tempered Simba, he dispersed the gamers. The gamers continued their discussions while dispersing. Simba is a hidden expert. His hammer is awesome. We couldn't slash past Crammer's scales. If we knew Simba was that awesome, we could have tried getting him to fight the boss. We could try the next time. I wonder if Simba has hit points his hammer looks more powerful than Crammer's. Your thoughts are dangerous, bro. The gamers joked as they left. With Simba's crushing of Crammer, he was relieved of anger. Simba couldn't understand the goblins and wasn't interested in their chatter. He had been in the dungeon for a month and was used to the gamers' insanity. No matter what the gamers said, he was nonchalant. Did you see Simba's aggro? Could there be a hidden plot? I only asked about Crammer, and he glared at me. It's not that simple. I'll ask him daily to see if I can unravel the hidden plot. Peasant smiled merrily as he spoke. Simba lifted his hammer and was about to smash Peasant's skull when Sherlock stopped him and consoled him. Old Smith, forget it. Don't hold it against them. I'll teach them a lesson later. Sherlock returned to the dungeon core main hall and started editing the reward distribution and the explanation of the unique equipment with the help of Brew. As he was editing, Brew said, Lord Sherlock, someone would like to transport some goods to Eternal Kingdom. Shall I allow them entry? Sherlock thought that it was his purchase of 100 beds and 10 complimentary beds. The beds required some time to produce and were to be delivered with the carpenter. Sherlock nodded, thinking that his purchase and carpenter had arrived. A large teleport portal opened up in the dungeon core main hall as stone golems brought in the 110 beds that occupied the front of the main hall. The gamers had gathered to watch. Some gamers tried to create trouble but were restrained by Sherlock's dominance. To the gamers, it was like a plot animation. If they got too close, they wouldn't be able to move. They stood there and chatted wildly, not knowing what was happening. Once the beds were all brought in, a black-bearded dwarf walked out and surveyed the surrounding goblins as if he was looking for someone. He looked at Sherlock, who came out from the dungeon core main hall. Respectable Lord Sherlock, I've heard your name while I was in Winterfell. I'm Mufasa, your new carpenter. This is our 3-month contract. The blackened dwarf Mufasa handed a contract to Sherlock. The content of the contract was similar to Simba's. The only differences were the name and the occupation. Wow, new NPC. Why do I feel like his name is taking advantage of the blacksmith? Perhaps we unraveled a plot after defeating Crammer. It's a possibility. Mufasa looked uncomfortable with so many goblins surrounding him and chatting wildly. Sherlock didn't sign the contract. Instead, he took Mufasa to the blacksmith shop and said, Welcome, welcome, the Eternal Kingdom is different from other dungeons. You might want to take note of certain things. I'll introduce a senior to you. He can show you the ropes. Though Mufasa was a blackened dwarf, he was an introverted dwarf. Soon they arrived at the blacksmith shop. As Sherlock was about to speak, Simba put down his hammer and walked with open arms towards Mufasa. Cousin Mufasa, you'll come. Cousin Simba. Mufasa went forward excitedly while the gamers chatted wildly. What's that? Mufasa and Simba are cousins? Does this infringe on copyright? I doubt so. They aren't lions but blackened dwarves. It's excellent. The creator of the NPC's names is a genius. Sherlock wasn't concerned about the names, but about their cousin relationship. Simba once said that his cousin was a blacksmith and that he intended to recommend him to Eternal Kingdom. Could Mufasa be a blacksmith? The jump from blacksmith to carpenter seemed a bit too much. Lord Sherlock, he's the cousin that I recommended. His skills are excellent. By the way, what's your profession? Simba twisted his head and asked Mufasa. Carpenter, Mufasa answered excitedly. Correct. My cousin's carpentry is excellent, Simba said proudly. Mufasa took out a certificate that said New Western Advanced Chef Certificate. Sherlock examined the certificate, but it couldn't change the fact that Mufasa could have switched from blacksmith to carpenter recently. Mufasa, I welcome you to Eternal Kingdom. I'm not suspecting your carpentry skills, as the certificate shows you are a certified carpenter. I don't have wood resources in the short term, so I'm giving you a month of probation. If your skills are good, I'll give you the actual work rate. You'll need to do your job as a carpenter within the probation period. Simba will bring you to the food storage room to take a look, and the goblins will help you carry the food materials daily. Sherlock corrected the contract to include the probation period. The rate for probation was 30 magic stones. After that, it was 100 magic stones. No problem, Lord Sherlock. Mufasa signed his name on the contract without hesitation. Sherlock also signed his name. They shook their hands and sealed their contract. Simba brought Mufasa to tour the Eternal Kingdom and advised him on the things to take note of. Some gamers dispersed, while a few gamers followed Simba and Mufasa to see if there were other plots. With Simba taking care of Mufasa, Sherlock was relieved. He had to prepare the contents of new upgrades and make arrangements for the new beds. The beds had to be placed in the rest chambers. Sherlock intended to follow the common dungeon arrangements and have rows and rows of beds for the gamers to rest. According to Brew, this was a good chance to earn large amounts of coins. How could he miss it? After Sherlock talked with Brew about the arrangements of the beds in the rest chambers, boss rewards, and the equipment binding issues, he edited his latest updates. Dungeon, Eternal Kingdom version 0.02 update log. Dungeon, Eternal Kingdom version 0.02 is officially updated. The new contents are online. Added a new boss reward distribution. After the gamers defeated the boss, they handed over the loot to Lord Sherlock to appraise. The loot will be exhibited for a day before being auctioned. Gamers can use the auction interface at 12 o'clock to bid for each individual item. There will be a 30% tax on the final bid price. The proceeds will be distributed to those gamers who defeated Kramer according to their contributions. Refer to the official distribution ratio. Added new equipment characteristic, legendary quality. Some appraised equipment can have legendary quality. Added new function, soul binding, legendary and higher quality equipment can be soul bound by Lord Sherlock after paying certain fees. The fees are charged according to equipment reputation level. After soul binding, only the owner can use the equipment. Soul-bound equipment can be exchanged for reputation points with Lord Sherlock. The equipment will then be auctioned and the proceeds distributed to the gamers. Added new function, equipment insurance. Worried that you will lose your favorite equipment after death? After a month of hard work by the game producer, a new function, equipment insurance, is being introduced. Legendary and higher quality equipment which is soul-bound can be insured by Lord Sherlock for a fee within the perimeter of the dungeon. If the gamer perishes, the insured equipment will return to the designated location. Added a new area, resource warehouse, for storing diamonds, more, beds, and other resources. The new area is not open to the public, and those without assigned missions cannot enter. Added a new area, equipment warehouse, used for storing equipment produced in Eternal Kingdom. The new area is not open to the public, and those without assigned missions cannot enter. Added new function, housing system. Gamers can pay 10 silver coins to purchase 2 square meters of private land in the rest chambers. Owners are to set up their own walls, doors, and locks. The doors and locks can be obtained from Simba for a fee. Building materials, such as diamond seam bricks, can be exchanged with reputation and coins at the dungeon core main hall. Added new furniture, bed. Gamers with private land can purchase a 1.5 square meters bed from Lord Sherlock for a silver coin. The bed is to be placed in private land. Everyone is limited to 1 bed. Gamers sleeping on the bed receive 100% energy restoration rate, reduced hunger pangs, and maintain the dignity of a goblin. Added a new carpenter, Mufasa, a carpenter from Winterfell. He's a blackened dwarf with excellent carpentry skills. He has a new West and Advanced Chef certificate and is the cousin of Simba. He's currently on probation. Added a new building, Carpenter Workshop. Please do not enter the Carpenter Workshop casually and do not steal the property within. Offenders will be put on a blacklist and will not receive help from the NPC. Added new dungeon construction missions. Gamers will be assigned to construct Mufasa's private rest chamber. Please do not enter the NPC's rest chamber or steal his property. Offenders will be put on a blacklist and will not receive help from the NPC. Sherlock checked the contents before publishing the updates. Once the Dungeon, Eternal Kingdom version 0.02 update log was published, the effect on the discussion forum was like a nuclear detonation. Within a minute, the clicks reached 10,000 times. Sherlock was shocked. Could there be more than 10,000 users on the forum? Even the replies were increasing exponentially. Sky Pimp, Dragon Throne. I'm a fence sitter, updates again. The producers are efficient. Equipment metal, front row, squeeze a bit. This is the first time that I'm close. I'm excited. Durex Dreamscape. I knew Mufasa and Simba were cousins the first time I saw them. Degrees. Selling drip toffin destitution, wait for a scar-faced dwarf with a barbaric hammer. Sixth Dawn, Blacksmith Simba, Carpenter Mufasa, complete with Timon, Pumbar, and Sarabi. Bold Monster, wait, does everyone feel that all the updates require fees? Quenching Priest, am I the only one to think the bed effect's puzzling? The damage rating is improved after sleeping. The design is too sloppy. Killer 33, am I the only one to mind the full service auction function? What about the poor gamers? Ponina, think about it, will you become stronger without paying? Lost feeling, we are slaves to house mortgage in reality, are we going to be mortgage slaves in the game as well? Yuwing Shao, after seeing the update content, I feel my liver hardening. Round Bamboo, I don't know if beta gamers are also Minecraft gamers. I'm curious how they are going to build grand palaces in an area of 2 square meters. Witness the Emperor with Prostitute, I feel the equipment auction will cost the rich gamers lots of money. May all lovers become brothers and sisters, you are exaggerating. There aren't many rich gamers. When it's an open beta, then the real rich gamers will have a field day. We'll just cheer with 666. Sherlock sat in the chair, pressing F5 and clicking the mouse as he read the posts happily. He was reading the gamers' feedback. The beta gamers got news of the updates, and the reaction was the inflation of the bronze coins. All the updates required money, especially silver coins. 1 silver coin was equivalent to 1,000 bronze coins. Carrying bricks for half a day only earned 100 bronze coins. Rich gamers like Not Wearing Pants, Arthur, and Burning Kister shouted at the training ground as they accumulated bronze coins at high prices. Poor gamers carried bricks diligently. A bronze coin was inflated from 5-10 renminbi to 50 renminbi. A few gamers sold their bronze coins at high prices, while some gamers tried to accumulate them at low prices or carried bricks diligently to earn and stockpile bronze coins. The rich gamers didn't shout for long before they joined the rest to carry bricks. Everyone carried bricks diligently and excavated Sherlock's designated space. Some gamers even took up missions to transport goods like horse and beds to the warehouse. Sherlock thought that the gamers would buy private land and beds, but he waited for half a day in vain. All the gamers were stockpiling bronze coins with the intention to sell them during the auction. At that time, the rich gamers would have the fiercest bidding, and the bronze coins would cost the most. Sherlock understood their intentions. Unless they were in need of money, normal gamers would stockpile the bronze coins. There were only 100 beta gamers. How many gamers were in serious need of money? Sherlock was able to relax for a while. Sherlock placed his hands behind his back and walked by the hasty gamers, who were either mining or carrying bricks. He walked towards the blacksmith shop. The gamers glanced at Sherlock before they continued their tasks. Sherlock was pleased that his plan was a success. If only the gamers would work this hard daily. Sherlock felt his goal was a step closer. While the gamers were busy, the blackened dwarves were busy forging a mithril weapon, which was smelted from Kramer's armor and hammer. Why was a carpenter forging a weapon? This wasn't a big deal in the underworld. How could a blacksmith who couldn't prepare meals be a good carpenter? The blackened dwarves hammered noisily, and they completed the first mithril longsword. Good materials produced quality weapons. Sherlock held the mithril sword in his hand and felt that it was 2 levels above the diamond seam sword and had greater damage. But to Sherlock, it was still trash. 3 sets of armor and 3 weapons were forged. To increase weapon variety and entertainment value, Sherlock decided on a longsword, single-handed hammer, and a dagger after discussing with Simba. The armor was made of the same materials, but the designs were different. Forging the mithril equipment required a day, and Sherlock was demanding detailed work. Otherwise, Simba would have completed the equipment long ago after a few harangues. Sherlock decided to return to the dungeon core main hall and browse the discussion forum instead of watching the forging process. The gamers didn't buy private land or beds, and the loot from Kramer wasn't auctioned. The price of bronze coins inflated as everyone stockpiled them to sell during the auction. Sherlock didn't expect to be less busy after announcing the update logs. Lord Sherlock. Sherlock lifted his head to look outside the dungeon core main hall. Simba and Mufasa brought the 3 weapons and sets of armor and were waiting outside the hall. Sherlock looked at the forum's time. It was 3 a.m. on the 10th of April 2019. That late, Sherlock was surprised. He felt he didn't read many posts, but time sped by. The gamers were still working diligently outside. Were there that many gamers online? Sherlock was astonished. Normally, there were about 10 gamers online at this time. Lord Sherlock, Simba shouted outside again. The gamers also started gathering outside. Sherlock didn't want them to slow down their work pace just to see a plot animation. Sherlock opened up the dungeon core main hall and let the 2 dwarves inside. Mufasa looked a bit lost as he felt that there were many abnormalities that he needed more time to get used to. Sherlock took the mithril equipment, and the 2 dwarves left. Simba hugged Mufasa as they chatted happily on their way out. The gamers watched both of them enter their own houses. Sherlock examined the equipment carefully. With Bruce's help, he completed the remarks on the equipment information panel. After that, he placed the equipment information at the dungeon core main hall entrance. A group of gamers was outside watching. Kramer's single-handed longsword, purple legendary equipment. Damage, 0-38, 20. Durability, 10 forger, blacksmith Simba, carpenter Mufasa. Item description, the sword was forged from the notorious Kramer's mithril equipment. The sword body was infused with the Hound Head men's battle cries. Exchange requirement, dungeon, Eternal Kingdom reputation level 3, reputation points of 30,000. Equipment inscription, waiting to be inscribed, owner can inscribe it. Kramer's single-handed hammer, purple legendary equipment. Damage, 0-35 weight, 25. Durability, 10 forger, blacksmith Simba, carpenter Mufasa. Item description, even the handle is made of metal. Exchange requirement, dungeon, Eternal Kingdom reputation level 3, reputation points of 30,000. Equipment inscription, waiting to be inscribed, owner can inscribe it. Kramer's dagger, purple legendary equipment. Damage, 0-25 weight, 10. Durability, 10 forger, blacksmith Simba, carpenter Mufasa. Item description, it is a short, sharp, and well-made dagger. It has an attack speed multiplier. Exchange requirement, dungeon, Eternal Kingdom reputation level 3, reputation points of 30,000. Equipment inscription, waiting to be inscribed, owner can inscribe it. The designs of the 3 weapons were very cool, especially with the words, Kramer. The gamers were in awe. Kramer, who was the leader of the Hound Head men, had killed and tortured many gamers. But no matter how powerful he was, he had been subdued. Besides the weapon, there were 3 sets of armor, including a breastplate, plate leggings, and a helmet. Leader's breastplate, purple legendary equipment. Defense, 50 weight, 20. Durability, 10. Forger, blacksmith Simba, carpenter Mufasa. Equipment description, used to be Kramer's armor. It has the smell of the Hound Head men. Required reputation, dungeon, Eternal Kingdom reputation level 3, reputation points of 30,000. Equipment inscription, waiting to be inscribed, owner can inscribe it. Leader's plate leggings, purple legendary equipment. Defense, 20 weight, 5. Durability, 10 forger, blacksmith Simba, carpenter Mufasa. Equipment description, used to be part of Kramer's armor. It has the Houndhead men's feet stench. Required reputation, dungeon, Eternal Kingdom reputation level 3, reputation points of 30,000. Equipment inscription, waiting to be inscribed, owner can inscribe it. Leader's helmet, purple legendary equipment. Defense, 30 weight, 10. Durability, 10 forger, blacksmith Simba, carpenter Mufasa. Equipment description, it is like becoming the king of the Houndhead men. Required reputation, dungeon, Eternal Kingdom reputation level 3, reputation points of 30,000. Equipment inscription, waiting to be inscribed, owner can inscribe it. When the attributes of the 6 pieces of legendary equipment were displayed, the gamers exploded with excitement. Each of the weapons is stronger than our normal weapons by 5 times. The attributes are unreasonably high. I feel that it shouldn't be called purple legendary equipment. It should be called purple rich equipment. If the 3 pieces of armor were used together, one would be invincible. The cumulative defenses are 100 points. What's the equipment inscription? A lot of online games have this concept that allows equipment to be inscribed. I'll inscribe it with regular script. Don't think about it. We'll work hard to buy a pigeon cage and dream about it. The 2 square meters of private land is slightly larger than the pigeon cage. Horrible, this dog plan is inhumane. There's no limit on the purchases. Let's see how the rich gamers fare. Those who don't want their lives could also try. Accumulating bronze coins, 100 renminbi for a bronze coin. The gamers shouted to buy bronze coins, but there were no responses, so they dispersed to carry bricks. There were only 100 gamers, and the number was too small to support the market that was dominated by the rich gamers. Sherlock wanted to return to browse the forum and see the gamers' comments and feedback on his plans. However, Bruce said, Lord Sherlock, there's a letter for you from Winterfell. Send it over. Sherlock was puzzled, having no idea who sent him the letter. A group of crimson flames appeared at the dungeon core, and the letter was spat out by the flames. It flew steadily to Sherlock as the flames vanished. Sherlock received the letter that had a seal depicting a devil holding a trident and a skull. Sherlock didn't recognize this symbol, but it was obvious that it belonged to a clan or organization. Sherlock opened the letter and saw familiar handwriting. Respectable Eternal Kingdom Devil Lord Sherlock. Winterfell would like to provide a one-stop service to Northern Dungeon Lords and also provide a platform for mass learning and networking. We are honored to inform you that after recommendations from both merchants, don't have the most expensive stuff and only have more expensive stuff, who are both a part of the Merchant Alliance, you have obtained a novice category entry coupon to attend the Dungeon Lords Experience Sharing Conference organized by Winterfell. The conference will be held 5 days later. The conference provides the following, but is not limited to location design, construction, manpower and talents, contracts and legality, merchant bans and routes, future planning, entrepreneurship and marketing, loans and mortgages, and other one-stop comprehensive services. We hope that they will help accelerate the development of your dungeon. All purchases enjoy a 15% discount. You will enjoy free fruit platters and a buffet dinner. With this letter, you will also enjoy free Beetleman valet service. If you are using the extended Beetleman, please kindly inform us beforehand. To prevent the conference from becoming the battlefield of the Dungeon Lords, each Dungeon Lord can only bring along 3 servants. We hope that you can understand. Winterfell looks forward to your presence, Winterfell. Sherlock examined the back of the letter and found the words, Lord Sherlock, please bring along 5 magic stones to pay the special talent intermediary fees that you have owed for half a month. Evelyn, after reading the letter, Sherlock put it away and asked, Brew, what do you think? Lord Sherlock, I think this is a good thing, Brew said. For manpower, with the large number of gamers as our foundation, our dungeon's development is faster than most dungeons. If I could level up in the future, then I could recruit more gamers. For special talents like blacksmiths and carpenters, we can recruit from Winterfell. Talents in the production of magical items, alchemy, enchantments, and precious stones are not easy to find. It might be a good idea to take a look at the Dungeon Lords Conference for experience sharing. Sherlock said, there are also loan and mortgage services that are worth a look. Since Lord Sherlock has decided to attend the conference, you will need a new suit to represent our dungeon. Sherlock looked at his own clothes, and they were indeed old. And we need a wild beetleman as Lord Sherlock can't possibly walk to Winterfell. We also need 3 presentable servants. If Lord Sherlock wishes to gain financial assistance, I feel that we have to be presentable and look progressive. Bruce's suggestion was good. Sherlock had more than 4,000 magic stones, so buying a nice suit wasn't a problem. Buying a beetleman was difficult, but it could be rented. The most difficult task was to find the 3 presentable servants. If he didn't bring along servants, he would look bad. When going on a trip, he would need servants to help him carry his suitcase, get a pen for him if he needed to sign a contract, polish his shoes when they were dusty, and carry his trousers while he visited the bathroom. He could be nonchalant while in the dungeon, but when he was on a trip, he had to take note of these details in case other creatures mistook him for a pauper who wouldn't be welcomed anywhere. As for the 3 presentable servants, he had blacksmith Simba, carpenter Mufasa, and skills trainer Moros, but Sherlock didn't believe that they had a lot of experience or exposure. The name of the conference was awe-inspiring and indicated a grand event in which there would be rich creatures throwing parties and such. His 3 servants would be dumbstruck, so Sherlock was doubtful that they could be presentable. The fearless gamers who would do anything to complete their missions might not be a bad idea. Sherlock decided to choose 3 servants from the gamers. After 5 days, the gamers with the 3 highest reputation points would accompany him to the conference. Of course, they would be bound by a mission during the trip to prevent the curious gamers from wandering around. Choosing the top 3 gamers was to encourage them to work harder so that Eternal Kingdom would be one step closer to his grand vision. Sherlock created a new mission to recruit the 3 servants on the official website and discussion forum, and Blue announced a full service mission known as Hidden Mission, Winterfell Dungeon Lords Experience Sharing Conference. After Eternal Kingdom defeated the notorious leader of the Houndhead men, Crammer, we caught the attention of Winterfell. Winterfell cordially invited Lord Sherlock to the Winterfell Dungeon Lords Experience Sharing Conference that will commence in 5 days. Mission objective: Lord Sherlock will choose the gamers with the top 3 reputation points as servants who will accompany Lord Sherlock and serve him at all times. Please note that the selected gamers will represent Eternal Kingdom and should exhibit a good servant's behavior. Mission restriction: gamers in the mission should not leave Lord Sherlock or talk loudly or touch other objects indiscriminately. Otherwise, the reward will be forfeited. Other restrictions apply according to what Lord Sherlock indicates. Reward: the selected gamers will receive 3 tuxedos. After successful completion of the mission, each gamer will receive 3 silver coins and 3,000 reputation points. After Sherlock posted the new mission on the discussion forum, his post dominated the front page again. The online gamers worked even harder in the dungeon. Sherlock wasn't in a hurry to buy his new suit and rent his beetleman. He would go shopping with the selected gamers on the 5th day. For now, he browsed the discussion forum and enjoyed the praise heaped on his dungeon. A bum with no feelings, the worldview exposition. Winterfell is mentioned again, and there are other dungeons. Interesting, will there be more starting points? 3,000 feet waterfall, will there be player versus player elements? If only there are such elements. Phil tribe. I'm not an H-cup lolly, for the Alliance. Chiffon prattle, Funko. Sulianmo, I only care about when there will be new races, and when the second beta is. Pure feelings by the breeze, when are they starting the new races? Unataku, are they opening up the attacking of dungeons? It would be a waste not to attack dungeons. I'm okay with attacking either NPCs or gamers. Blue-White, why are you so impatient? It's now in beta testing. The producers are serious and sincere. The designer is a genius. The game will definitely have such features. On account of my bootlicking, can I be awarded the beta gamer status? Closing bracket. Peasant, who is the bootlicker above? Singing praises of this lousy game design. Because of the brainless design, my hard-earned money is gone, and my liver is hardening. With the current hero mission, I have to work my liver extra hard. If not for the immersive experience, the dramatic setbacks, and the ultra-realism, I would have destroyed the gaming capsule. End of story. I am going to carry more bricks. Electric Train, when is the open beta? I am looking forward to playing it. I feel like dying every day I go without playing it. I could also observe the previous beta gamer. Eulogy, observing beta gamers. After Sherlock browsed the comments in the forum, which were mostly people pleading to join the beta testing, he was very pleased. His dungeon was popular, and the reputation was very good in the Underworld. Closing his announcement post, Sherlock skimmed other superficial topics on the forum, such as July's photobook, Dungeon's new control point, and Blacksmith Simba ex-carpenter Mufasa, which he wasn't interested in. As for Lord Sherlock is handsome, analysis of Lord Sherlock's behavior today, and when his information on Lord Sherlock's game tidbits shown, he was pleased to see them. When Sherlock saw some Eternal Kingdom designs look like German company Realm Forge Studios' Dungeon series, he asked curiously, Brew, what is the Dungeon series in the Underworld? Why is Lord Sherlock suddenly interested in the Underworld's games? Brew asked, puzzled. I'm curious why the Underworld's dungeon looks similar to Eternal Kingdom. I feel I should investigate, Sherlock said. Please wait a while, Brew said, and Sherlock saw a QQ Whirlwind software opening up on the computer and downloading a compressed file, Dungeon Series Game Compressed Pack, unlock code, 4396. The download was fast, and before long, it was completed. With Brew's help, Sherlock decompressed the file, installed it, and started the game. Lord Sherlock, it's time. What? The surface adventurers are arriving? I haven't finished constructing my treasure vault. Sherlock's fingers clicked quickly, and the computer mouse was moved frantically. No, Lord Sherlock, I'm not referring to the game. It's time for the equipment auction. Sherlock was shocked. What? A day has passed? Sherlock looked at the time, and Crammer's loot had been exhibited for a day. It was almost 12 in the afternoon and time for the auction. Sherlock didn't expect time to pass that fast. The gamers gathered outside the dungeon core main hall to await the start of the auction. The bid prices wouldn't be shouted by the gamers. Instead, Brew would become a bidding system and collect the gamers' bids. Within 10 minutes, the 6 loot items would be auctioned simultaneously to the highest bidders. The gamers gathered outside the main hall to see who was going to win the bids. The attributes of Crammer's loot were superior to the current Diamond Seam equipment, and the loot had legendary status and unique designs. It would be impressive to own the loot which could be soulbound and insured. The most important factor was that the loot was one of a kind, just like Crammer. There wouldn't be a second Crammer in the Underworld. In this auction, the gamers would expend their month's earnings from doing missions and exchanging for materials. There would be a 30% tax, and the proceeds would be distributed according to individual contributions in defeating Crammer. The contributions of the gamers were decided by Brew, and he would reward them accordingly. Hence Sherlock wouldn't be involved. With the many chatting gamers gathered outside the main hall, it was like a noisy market. Though Mufasa had been in the dungeon for 2 days, he still wasn't used to the insane and incredible gamers. Kazan, why aren't they working? Why are they chatting outside the main hall? Isn't Lord Sherlock going to dismiss them? Mufasa held a soup ladle while Simba placed some clay in the soup pot. The food would be sold at a high price to the gamers after it was prepared. Lord Sherlock won't dismiss them. Chatting while gathering is one of their pastimes. Remember, no matter what the goblins do, don't be surprised, Blacksmith Simba said nonchalantly. Mufasa needed more time to get used to Eternal Kingdom. Meanwhile, the auction had reached its climax. There was only a minute left. The bids for the 6 items were about 200 to 400 bronze coins, and they came from some unknown gamers. The gamers who wanted the items would only bid at the last moment. When the countdown started, the bids of the 6 items jumped from hundreds to tens of thousands. Within 30 seconds, the bids of every item breached 20,000 bronze coins and continued to increase by the thousands. In the last 10 seconds, the bids of the items stabilized at around 30,000 bronze coins. In the last 3 seconds, the bids increased exponentially. During the process, the gamers were shouting excitedly. Gosh, it's breaking records. What's the deal? A piece of online game equipment is being sold for tens of thousands of renminbi. Did the rich gamers accumulate all the game coins? If it's that expensive with only 100 beta gamers, what's going to happen when it's an open beta? It's a windfall. I'm going to set up a workplace to play the game and earn coins during the open beta. I'm not going to work anymore. While the gamers were chatting, the 6 items were sold at around 40,000 bronze coins. The auction results were already known before the auction. In the 100 beta gamers, only 5 were contenders: Arthur, Not Wearing Pants, Burning Kister, Sylvanas, and Seyparanomy Cat Demon. They were the richest beta gamers, and they each obtained an item. The last item, the breastplate, was bought by Arthur, who spent a total of close to 100,000 bronze coins. The gamers were complaining about the generosity of the rich gamers and how they were blinded. Under the envious gazes of the gamers, the rich gamers received their bid items. Not Wearing Pants immediately shouted, "Who wants plate leggings?" Renminbi transaction. Tens of nearby gamers started bidding. A new auction had started. Sherlock didn't bother with Not Wearing Pants and how he was going to profit from the auction. He didn't care how rich the gamers were in the Underworld. He was pondering practical issues. The total proceeds were about 60,000 bronze coins, and most of the bronze coins were inscribed with a 100 number, which indicated a worth of 100 bronze coins. The rest were silver coins. The coins created a small hill in front of Sherlock, giving him a headache. There were only 100 goblins, and in less than a month, there were that many coins. In the future, there would be a second beta and third beta. According to Brew, 8 billion gamers were waiting. Not all 8 billion gamers could come in, as the dungeon core's infrastructure couldn't cope with the capacity. The dungeon core had to level up to recruit more creatures. After adding more creatures, the metal coins' usage would increase greatly. It wasn't like Sherlock couldn't afford the metal coins, but he felt it was troublesome. Sherlock was going to use these coins to lure the surface adventurers and capture them for magic stones. If the gamers monopolized the coins, then his plan would be wrecked. Sherlock looked at his magic stone card and pondered. Brew, could you come up with a banking system? What? Brew was surprised. Like the magic stone card, money could be transferred during a transaction. The magic stones could then be withdrawn as required, Sherlock said. If the gamers carry the coins around, they will suffer great losses if they die. In the future, with tens of thousands of gamers, how many coins will I have to prepare? Indeed, if we don't solve this issue, then we'll need a large warehouse to store these coins. The gamers have already accumulated that much wealth within a month. If the number of gamers increases, they will have even more wealth, Brew said. Lord Sherlock, though I have a heavy workload, I'll work overtime to create this banking system. I'll need more mana for support. Problems that could be solved with mana weren't problems. Brew made use of his time to create the banking system. The earlier the banking system was online, the better the gamer's experience. The most important thing was to save money for Sherlock. The coins for the 100 gamers cost him 10 magic stones. If there were tens of thousands of gamers, how much would it cost? The gamers gathered around the rich gamers and received the proceeds of the auction. Sherlock used most of his mana to charge Brew so that he could develop the banking system. Sherlock then opened up his computer and muttered, "I'll play for half an hour." The time for the Dungeon Lord Experience Sharing Conference had arrived. Within 3 days, Sherlock had been called to heal and revive the gamers. Some gamers also wanted to buy private land and beds. The gamers didn't relax after the auction. To be selected for the hidden mission, they did their missions diligently, hunting spiders, exchanging materials, and earning reputation points. Casualties were unavoidable. Sherlock was irritated by the interruptions as he was researching the dungeon game. Sherlock swore he wanted to find a revival magician, but later he decided not to. The salary was an issue, and he had to find a person he trusted. How could he spend the money just to play a game? Sherlock was an ambitious devil lord. How could he neglect his goal for the game? What was the game? He didn't like it. Lord Sherlock, it seems like you conquered the dungeon. You did it twice, Brew congratulated Sherlock. Here, it's just a game. Have you selected the servants that will accompany me to the conference? Sherlock sipped his thick tea gracefully and asked. They have been selected, Lord Sherlock, Brew said. The 3 goblins were waiting excitedly for Sherlock. We can set off now. The 3 selected gamers with the highest reputation points were Not Wearing Pants, Arthur, and Sylvanas. The other gamers were disappointed since they had worked very hard for the selection. Sherlock perked himself up and admired himself in the mirror provided by the dungeon core. After affirming his dominance, he walked out of the main hall. The 3 selected gamers were already waiting. Not Wearing Pants said to Arthur, "To complete this hidden mission, I cancelled a date with my girlfriend. I wonder how long it will take." Arthur remained silent. He was wearing a normal diamond seam armor and wielding a short sword. He said without any emotion, "I don't know." Arthur didn't use the auction armor or sword. The other gamers also did the same, handing their equipment to Sherlock for safekeeping. Not Wearing Pants sold his plate leggings to Burning Kister, while the other winning bidders sought soul binding and insurance for their legendary items. Sherlock planned to purchase all the required items in Winterfell. He couldn't possibly use a teleport scroll to travel to Winterfell just for the 6 legendary items. Sherlock didn't tell the gamers that he didn't want to waste his teleport scroll. Instead, he told them that the equipment insurance required time to manifest. After the pieces of equipment were soulbound, they were given to Sherlock for safekeeping. He wouldn't let them be fully armed when attending the conference since they were just attendants. It was meaningless for them to carry weapons. Instead, they would wear tuxedos. Though the three gamers already had tuxedos from the Winterfell merchant band, it wouldn't cost much to get them more presentable tuxedos. Sherlock let the three gamers store their equipment in the dungeon core main hall. Then, he took out a teleport scroll and said to the gathering of chatting gamers, "Brave citizens of the Eternal Kingdom. Because of your valor, we defeated the evil Hound Headmen and were invited to the Winterfell conference. This honor is not solely for me. The honor belongs to you, my brave warriors. Your feat will be known throughout the Underworld." Sherlock tore the teleport scroll. As the gamers cheered wildly, the magical teleportings engulfed Sherlock and the three gamers before they vanished. Has the plot ended? What do we do now? We continue to carry bricks. Have you earned your private land? No, 2 square meters for a silver coin. How could I earn that? Let's carry the bricks. Forming expeditions. Hunting spiders. Why are you forming expeditions? Shalai isn't in, so who's going to revive you? The gamers chatted as they worked diligently. Sherlock was transported to Winterfell amongst the wild cheering of the gamers. Not Wiringpant and Arthur had been to Winterfell before, but it was in a rush, and they didn't have time for sightseeing. It was the first time for Sylvanas, and she was in awe of Winterfell's grandeur. When she saw the orcs, abominations, werewolves, and sirens strolling by the teleport portal reception hall, she stared. We had the same expression when we came the first time. Moros was sitting there checking the tickets. That location, not Wiringpant said excitedly to Sylvanas. There was another gnome at the exit. Arthur remained silent as usual. When Sherlock passed by the great ceiling painting of the devil, not Wiringpant said, "This is the great devil, Michelangelo, destroying the surface world in world destruction." The great devil almost destroyed the world. How do you know? This isn't on the official website, Sylvanas said in disbelief. I wrote about this in my strategy guide. Perhaps you didn't read my post. I'm not bluffing. When I was with Arthur during the first mission, Shalai introduced the painting to us, but he didn't do it this time. I suppose he would only introduce it the first time. Sylvanas was envious. Sherlock brought them out of the teleport portal reception hall and onto the streets. The simulated sun emitted gentle light rays upon them. Sherlock looked at the sky, which was created by man, and marveled at its realism. It was early morning, and there was quite a while before the start of the conference. Sherlock was able to shop for their new clothing and purchase items like teleport scrolls. He needed to rent a beetleman as well, a wild one. A beetleman charged around in the northern tunnel of Winterfell and bellowed wildly. The other beetlemans and other crawling insects were shocked by the charging beetleman and dodged in a hurry. On top of the wild beetleman were a devil and 3 goblins. One of the goblins shouted arrogantly, "Move away. Move away." The pedestrians looked in fear at the devil and the wild beetleman. The beetleman dashed around recklessly and almost knocked against the buttocks of a slow elderly beetleman. Fortunately, the wild beetleman brushed against the side of the tunnel and avoided a tragic accident. "Slowcoach, are you looking for death?" Furious shouts faded as the devil and beetleman receded into the distance. "Kid, who are you? Shout at me if you have the guts." On the slow-moving beetleman was not Wiringpants, who pointed at the distant devil and shouted furiously. There were 2 goblins beside him, Arthur and Sylvanas. They weren't normal goblins. They were gamers from the Underworld. Behind the 3 goblins was the great devil Lord Sherlock. "Why aren't we transported to the conference location after the end of the plot animation? Why do we have to sit on this slow beetleman?" Sylvanas asked, puzzled. "This is normal. The beetleman is slow as to let us familiarize ourselves with the cityscape. Just like familiarizing ourselves with the environment of a new map," not Wiringpants replied. "Do we have to travel slowly on our rides? I would like to suggest having a teleport point so that we could travel faster on the official website." "Aren't the games operating like a fast food restaurant?" Sylvanas asked. "I like the speed. In the previous World of Warcraft, before the 1970 series, there weren't any flying rides. Everyone worked hard to get the expensive horses. It was fun, though." Not Wiringpants reminisced sweetly while Sylvanas rolled her eyes. "Uncle, how long ago was that version? You have revealed your age. Aren't you revealing your age with your name? You are most likely born in the 1980s, at most 1990s. Impossible to be after 2000, not Wiringpants said. Who said that people born after 2000 don't play World of Warcraft? I did, Sylvanas said. Arthur didn't say a word. Then, after a long time, he shouted, "I'll be back in 5 minutes. I'm picking up a parcel." After that, he emitted uniform breathing sound. He wasn't sleeping but was merely offline. Sherlock sat irritated behind the 3 goblins. He had to endure the slow beetleman and the wild chatting of the gamers. To be more specific, the chatterboxes were not Wiringpants and Sylvanas. Arthur only chipped in occasionally. They chatted for an hour. Who knew why these Underworld gamers had that much to talk about? Even if the beetleman was slow, it was still faster than their walking speed. After an hour, they had almost reached their destination. They saw other creatures moving in the same direction along the way. Most likely, they were also attending the conference. Sherlock wasn't trying to save money on the beetleman rental. Even if he was poor, he had 4,000 magic stones, and it was no issue buying the clothing and renting the beetleman. When Sherlock wanted to rent a beetleman, there were no more beetlemans available because there were many creatures attending the conference and they had rented all available ones. There was only one elderly beetleman left, and the rental boss had actually put it in retirement. In the end, the rental boss rented it to Sherlock for 200 magic stones. Sherlock decided that it was better than walking for hours. Arthur came back online. He straightened his back and asked, "Haven't we arrived yet?" "I would normally have ditched online games with such poor gaming experience. This isn't the usual online game." You can destroy your gaming capsule if you don't like it. Sylvanus pointed to the front as she shouted, "Have we arrived yet?" Sherlock was waiting for the three gamers to quarrel and provide some entertainment when Sylvanus shouted. Sherlock lifted his head and looked into the distance. A group of huge buildings appeared. They had almost arrived. The Winterfell Dungeon Lord Experience Sharing Conference was held in the manor of the Winterfell Dungeon Lord, who was also a senior member of the Merchant Alliance. Strictly speaking, Winterfell didn't belong to anybody. The Dungeon Lord was like a manager since Winterfell was part of the Merchant Alliance's asset. From afar, one could see how this senior member of the Merchant Alliance was living a luxurious and decadent lifestyle. There were several manors linked together. The grounds were covered with green stone slabs that were far superior in terms of aesthetics and quality than Eternal Kingdom's diamond sim floor. Sherlock sat on the slow-moving beetleman, which passed through the shiny golden doorway. The beetleman stepped on the beautiful stone slabs as Sherlock held on to its buttocks. Finally, the beetleman stopped in front of a circular fountain. Sherlock stepped on the beetleman's joints as he dismounted and tidied up his suit gracefully. He saw another beetleman stop behind his ride. A slender devil with a goat's horn dismounted the beetleman while trembling, and the werewolf in a western suit quickly supported his arm. Another two werewolves carried the devil's suitcase and his suspenders. The werewolves looked professional. The goat-horned devil looked at the young Sherlock, the elderly beetleman at his side, and the three goblins on top of the beetleman. Finally, he looked at Sherlock in bewilderment. Sherlock looked back at his servants. Because of their height, the goblins were unable to step on the beetleman's joints to dismount. Arthur looked unsightly as he attempted to climb down. Sylvanus hesitated, while Notweir Inkpants took a deep breath on the beetleman's back before jumping. When Notweir Inkpants landed, his leg bones emitted clear crackling sounds, and he sat on his buttocks. His spine also emitted strange sounds as he laid flat on the ground. As he didn't have the sensation of pain, he didn't scream. His body emitted the sounds pom, ka-cha, la-cha. What are you doing? It stood high, and yet you jumped. Arthur used both his hands and legs to climb down. He frowned and attempted to pull Notweir Inkpants up, but the latter was unable to stand up. How would I know that goblin anatomy was so realistic in this game? Normally, I would lose some blood in most games. Who would believe that I would break my bones? Notweir Inkpants lay on the ground and said in exasperation. Is this your first day playing this game? Arthur slapped Notweir Inkpants' head. Will it affect the mission? Drag me please, bro, Notweir Inkpants pleaded to Arthur. Sherlock couldn't bear to watch any longer. He lifted his hand as he transferred mana to Notweir Inkpants to heal his injury. Thank you, shall I? Thank you, shall I? Notweir Inkpants stood up and smiled happily. Sylvanus, who was still trapped on the beetleman, said anxiously, What should I do? I'm a small girl. I don't dare to jump. Sherlock walked over and gazed at Sylvanus, who seemed to understand Sherlock's intention. Sylvanus nodded, focused her gaze, and jumped like Notweir Inkpants towards Sherlock's location. Pom, ka-cha, la-cha, shastarist. This is crazy. I'm interacting with an NPC using my eyes, Sylvanus said angrily and laid on the ground like Notweir Inkpants. She vomited a mouthful of fresh blood. Sherlock lifted his hand and transferred mana to Sylvanus, healing her injuries. The gamers didn't know the usefulness of pain, and it showed. Sherlock didn't have to carry them. As long as they didn't fall to their death, Sherlock could heal them. It was much more convenient than carrying them. The three gamers started their discussion excitedly. Aren't you a girl born after 2000? Notweir Inkpants asked as he looked at Sylvanus, who stood up and continued cursing and swearing. Have you seen a girl whose name is Sylvanus? Who could do missions and carry materials for 3 days, 20 hours per day? Arthur asked. Gosh, are you perverted? Sylvanus looked surprised at Arthur and said, Me saying I'm your daddy doesn't mean I'm not a girl. I'm a cute 2000 girl. D*MN, are you sure you aren't a man disguising as a girl? Notweir Inkpants teased. The three of them continued bantering as though Notweir Inkpants and Sylvanus didn't have a fatal fault. Let's go, my servants. From now on, you'll represent Eternal Kingdom. Talk less, do more work, and don't touch anything. Sherlock broke up their banter and brought the goblins into the manor as the goat-horned devil gaped in shock. The goat-horned devil looked questioningly at the werewolves at the side, but they only shook their heads. Once Sherlock and his servants left, a goblin bellboy led Sherlock's elderly beetleman to the designated place to rest. Arthur, Notweir Inkpants, and Sylvanus weren't bothered by the goat-horned devil. There were many devils and underworld creatures to see at the sides. Some were devils like Sherlock and had huge wings. Others were devils with strange faces. Normally, their heads would have strange things. Goat horns were quite common. The number of devils was small, while there were many more underworld creatures, such as 10-meter-tall giants, stone golems, minotaurs, succubi who wore high heels, revealing clothes, and had long slender tails and other mystical underworld creatures that the gamers hadn't seen before. Gosh, they are going to be blown away by what we saw. Hurry, take pictures. I'm vexed that I can't take pictures in the game. Would you carry out your mission properly? Stop talking. The three gamers continued bantering, though they lowered their volume. Notweir Inkpants and Sylvanus whispered to each other incessantly. Taking the stairs up, Sherlock looked prominent with goblins as servants. Before he arrived at the entrance to the main hall, a sludge monster in a wet tuxedo slithered over. Lord Sherlock, the sludge monster shouted as he dashed towards Sherlock. Sherlock was stunned and looked at the sludge monster, whose tuxedo looked familiar. All sludge monsters looked the same, so it wasn't easy to identify them. I am Baron Nicholas Butler. The Baron ordered me to wait here for Lord Sherlock. We have met before, Lord Sherlock. The sludge monster bent forward and bowed to Lord Sherlock. Sherlock remembered the butler and bowed as he took off his hat. A meditating voice was then heard. Lassie's plot. We should be able to see Lassie soon since his butler is already here. Is he a sludge monster or a slime? Stop talking. The sludge monster was embarrassed and asked Sherlock, Lord Sherlock, Lassie is. It's all right. Don't worry about them. Why did the Baron have you wait for me? Is the Baron here too? Isn't he on his business trips? Sherlock waved his hand and said. Before the sludge monster could reply, the irritating voice came from behind again. What's that? Did the sludge monster react to my conversation? Yes, Lassie is the pet name for your Baron. Is this your first day knowing that the NPC could interact with you? Please stop talking. The mission says that we can't talk. The sludge monster is looking at us. What if we fail the mission? Not wearing pants and Sylvanus stopped talking after Arthur reminded them. So it's a pet name. Baron was right. He received great hospitality while he was at Eternal Kingdom, the sludge monster said. Lord Sherlock, as you know, Nick Baron Lassie is also part of the Merchant Alliance. Though the Baron didn't manage to come back, he was concerned about Lord Sherlock. That being the case, he assigned me to wait for you and then lead the way. The sludge monster said respectfully, Lord Sherlock, welcome to the Dungeon Lord Experience Sharing Conference. According to the conference rules, Sherlock could only bring 3 servants. As the sludge monster was one of the workers, he wasn't considered Sherlock's servant. For the past few years, the development of the dungeons was on afterburners, and an increasing number of devils purchased dungeons to start their enterprise. You are being categorized in the novice group, but it's not because of your low-status dungeon, poor location, or lack of resources. It's because of the large number of dungeon lords. With Lord Sherlock's status and capability, you could be in the veteran group commerce discussion. The butler put a convenient pen into his body and said, the following is a note left by the Baron for Lord Sherlock. He also meticulously selected the required buildings and special talents for the initial development of Eternal Kingdom. This is the veteran group listing. The butler spat out a piece of paper filled with words and handed the sticky paper to Sherlock. Sherlock took the sticky paper and perused it. Veteran group commerce discussion area. Underground forest planting area, 10,000 magic stones. Magic stone ores refinery, 10,000 magic stones. Teleport portal reception hall, 10,000 magic stones. Magical items enchantment platform, 10,000 magic stones. Magical beasts research center, 50,000 magic stones. Underworld creatures improvement research center, 50,000 magic stones. The latest complete magical skills compendium for Underworld creatures, 50,000 magic stones. Lord Sherlock, let's take a look at the materials for construction. We'll begin from the teleport portal exhibition hall. They have the best teleport portal merchants in the northern underworld. A functional dungeon with a bright future has to have a good transportation system. Though there are numerous restrictions on the teleport portal, it's the most efficient method for traveling before construction of the rapid transit. As for the novice group commerce discussion, we don't need, the butler said as he walked. When he turned his head, Sherlock and his 3 servants were gone. Lord Sherlock, the lost and helpless butler asked in a timid voice. While the butler was looking all over the place for Sherlock, he had taken his servants to the free afternoon tea area. There were clay roasted spiders, fried clay cakes, clay buns with meatballs, clay hot pot, and the Underworld favorite clay covered rice. Even the children nearby were craving and weeping for the food. Can we have these foods? Sylvanus looked at the delicacies and couldn't hold herself back. Can I bring some back to sell? I haven't seen these foods before. Is there a special buff after eating? What's there to eat? I feel we should examine things. This is a new scene. Whether we will be able to come here again is still a question mark. Have you played an RPG before? Not wearing pants extended his hand to grab the bottles and glance at the sides, but he was stopped by Arthur. Have you forgotten about the mission requirements? Less chatting and don't touch anything. If I'm unable to complete this mission because of you, are you going to compensate me? I'm just joking. Not wearing pants smiled sheepishly. He decided not to touch the bottles after seeing Arthur's serious face, and he apologized earnestly. Sorry, rich bro. I won't do it again. Sherlock ignored the 3 gamers as they quieted down. He wasn't there for the free afternoon tea. Sherlock grabbed a Hades tentacle bread and a cup of thick, fragrant, and bloody chrysanthemum tea as he surveyed the area and found his spot. Dungeon Lord Experience Sharing Conference, Novice Group Commerce Area. Arthur, not wearing pants, Sylvanus, Sherlock shouted, causing the 3 gamers to perk up. Pen, not wearing pants took out a pen from his tuxedo and showed it to Sherlock. Personal seal, Sylvanus took out the personal seal from her tuxedo and showed it to Sherlock. Suitcase, Arthur lifted up a small suitcase. Good, we are prepared. The next phase is an important time for Eternal Kingdom. Be on your toes, show the dignity that a hero should have. The heroes that defeated the leader of the Houndhead men, Crammer, and saved the world. Focus your attention, do you understand? Sherlock did his final preparation and checked that his magic stone card had more than 3,000 magic stones before he took them in. Amazing special price, the latest 100-year anniversary sale organized by the blacksmith shop. Do you want a good, affordable carpenter with culinary skills? Look for us. Easy to grow wild grass for healing injury. Wild grass is more than sufficient. You can even add in some wild grass for dinner. Easy to learn exercises, even goblins can practice their sphincter. Do not be discouraged or disappointed. The latest enrichment book, Dungeon Development for the Poor Soul, is guaranteed to let you go from a beginner to a muddy end. Sherlock walked past a rundown corridor with the shop's information counters. They were decorated with various promotional materials that were attractive and informative. Even the prices were suitable for novices. However, there weren't many creatures seeking information. Only a few devils and some underworld creatures were seeking information, creatures like clichés and vampires. It was a pathetic novice group. According to the butler, weren't we categorized in the novice group because there were too many dungeons? Not wearing pants was hinting that there weren't many dungeon lords seeking commercial collaboration. Games are like this. They promoted that there were many creatures, but the actual turnout is pathetic. It's normal, Arthur replied, feeling that there was nothing strange about it. Weren't we invited because we defeated Crammer? Will we be given a chance to give a speech? Sylvanus asked. As the gamers chatted among themselves, Sherlock found his commerce collaborators. Super low interest loans for novices. Pleasant to borrow, or hard to repay. Sherlock tidied his collar. His dream was to build the greatest dungeon. To depend on manpower alone wasn't sufficient. He required a large amount of resources and convenient transportation to create a self-sufficient enterprise hub, perhaps even numerous magical talents. Did these resources not require lots of magic stones? Like what he saw on the veteran group list, every item was Sherlock's goal. He intended to obtain a loan of 1,800,000 magic stones first. Before he grasped the door handle, the door opened, and the devil that looked like a fly was dragged out. Wait for a while. I know my dungeon is 3 days' journey from the surface and is a bit close. My dungeon only has a small magic stone ore vein and a tiny forest resource. Can I mortgage a few of my goblins too? 3,000 magic stones is too little. I would like to purchase the items in the veteran group collaboration listing. Hello, listen to me. The devil was dragged into the distance. How can I help you? Obtaining a loan? A pale vampire walked out from the loan office, looked at Sherlock, and asked politely. I'm passing by, Sherlock replied casually and placed his hands behind his back as he left. Gosh, I thought I was going to obtain a loan. I prepared a screenshot, not where Rinkman said helplessly. How could it be, the dungeon lord obtaining a loan in front of the gamers? That game plot is too loose, Sylvanus said in a joking manner. Arthur kept quiet as he followed Sherlock and looked around. Sherlock wasn't bothered by the idle chat of his gamers. He had to think of a way to obtain the money. His dream of borrowing 1,800,000 magic stones was dashed. If he couldn't borrow the money, how was he going to earn money? Gambling, perhaps. No. Devils wouldn't dabble in gambling. Though he had the intention to let his gamers compete in the gladiator arena to earn money, he had to strengthen their bodies before they could obtain the championship. Sherlock was in a dilemma. He wanted to find investors to fleece, but after running around, he found that there was no investment section. He felt terrible. Just as Sherlock thought he was going home empty-handed, he unwittingly arrived at a room with the words Special Talent Recruitment Center. He frowned and wanted to leave immediately. He saw the sludge monster with the vet tuxedo walking towards him and shouting, Lord Sherlock. Where are you? I processed a teleport portal reception hall agreement for you. There is a 20% discount, and it will only cost 8,000 magic stones. Lord Sherlock. Lord Sherlock was about to turn around when the door of the Special Talent Recruitment Center opened, and a succubus walked out. The succubus looked at Sherlock and was stunned. Sherlock was also taken aback. Both of them gazed at each other. To the 3 gamers, it was like the 8 o'clock prime-time idle drama chance meeting of the male and female protagonists, the kind with glittering stars around the picture frame. Not where Rinkman winked at Arthur and whispered, I thought this was a realistic horror online game by Cthulhu. I didn't expect it to have comedic love elements. Look at the succubus gaze at Sherlock. Isn't it love at first sight? Though it's old-fashioned, it would make the NPC popular. Do you believe that if I posted this picture on the forum, it would create another sensation? Before Arthur replied, the succubus grabbed Sherlock's cloak and cried, Pay woo. The succubus didn't manage to complete her sentence. Her mouth was covered by Sherlock as he shoved her into the house. Sherlock said to the servants, wait from the outside. Then, the door was shut, and the 3 gamers were left outside, looking at each other. What's that? Sylvanus hadn't recovered herself. The 18, restricted scene, I think. Not where Rinkman was puzzled. Do we wait? Perhaps there's a hidden plot or mission? Arthur frowned as he looked around. Sherlock pushed Evelyn to the background wall of the door. She looked astonished at Sherlock and gave muffled sounds. Sherlock took out a card and asked, do you have a card? Evelyn struggled more furiously. Sherlock pondered over his words and found them ambiguous. He said, it's not a robbery. I'm transferring magic stones to you. Evelyn heaved a sigh of relief. Sherlock released his grasp and backed up. I thought Lord Sherlock had forgotten about it, so I wrote an invitation letter and put in a reminder on the back of the letter. I was shocked by your actions just now. Evelyn clasped her magic stone card. She was pleased to see 5 magic stones being transferred to her. How could I forget? I've been looking for you, but I didn't manage to find you. I'm relieved that you're doing well in your current job. I'm leaving, Sherlock said casually. He noticed several recruitment tags on the wall, and one of them attracted his attention. Lord Sherlock. As Evelyn was pushed to the wall, she was unable to move her body. She covered her chest with her hands, and her tail shifted nervously. Is this for real? Sherlock pointed to the recruitment tag behind Evelyn, who turned her head to take a look. Recruitment of special talent. To complete the spiritual graduation research and test the latest combat power of the Spirit Legion, I am recruiting intelligent and strong combatants. The requirement is being fearless of death. Attractive remuneration. That is the recruitment notice for the Spectre College every semester before graduation. There aren't many applicants as the requirements are stringent. What is it? Is Lord Sherlock interested in applying? Evelyn asked, puzzled. Of course, it's not me. However, some of my friends could be interested. I'm looking out for them. Sherlock left Evelyn and took the recruitment notice off the wall. He examined the notice carefully. Is there any detailed information on the remuneration? The previously recruited combatants were either seriously injured or killed instantly. The Lichets were newly graduated, and they weren't familiar with the control of the Spirit Legion, so there were lots of accidents. Each combatant's remuneration isn't high, and there's no death compensation, Evelyn said. Those with strong capability weren't willing to do troublesome work with little pay. That's why very few creatures applied. Help me contact the Spectre College. I'd like to contact them, as my friends might be interested in this job if the remuneration is reasonable, Sherlock said casually. You know my address. Write me a letter after contacting them. Really, thank you, Lord Sherlock, for supporting my work. Since graduating from school, my business has always been from Lord Sherlock. I'm really touched. Evelyn wiped her face with the sleeves. You're just beginning your career, so it's harder to get businesses. It's normal. As long as you work hard, you'll be successful. You're such a diligent girl, you'll have a bright future, Sherlock said sincerely as he handed the recruitment notice back to her. As he turned to leave, she caught hold of Sherlock's cloak. Sherlock turned his head and saw reluctance in Evelyn's eyes. Intermediary application fees, 5 magic stones, Evelyn said. What, you bought a dungeon next to the spirit world? Dungeons cannot be paid for with loans and must be paid in full. My God, your dungeon is located in such a good location. The lick that I recruited the other day graduated third in place in the Spectre College, and I got him from the Eternal Fire Dungeon. Do you know the Eternal Fire Dungeon? The top-notch dungeon in the northern underworld. I just discussed an item. Didn't I hunt for a magical beast with my minions previously? The quality of the beasts is good. Magic stones aren't a problem as long as you get him to work in my dungeon immediately. Yes, it's negotiable. Remuneration? Of course, it's good. Private swimming pool, scenic villa by the coast, fully simulated surface weather, best play meals 3 times a day, available throughout the 4 seasons. My dad has a dungeon, and I'm an intern over there. I'll look for a good place in the future to develop the dungeon. Your merchant band is good. Come to my dungeon and set up a permanent trading post in the future. The surface world's adventurers charged into my dungeon like wild dogs as they raided my items. You don't know how chaotic the scene was. Arthur, not wearing pants, and Sylvanus stood at the entrance of the novice group commerce area and observed the meal section that was getting crowded. The devils and the strange underworld creatures were socializing, while the goblins and sludge monsters in tuxedos served the crowd. They held plates that were filled with colored bubbling drinks and various bloody snacks. Why do I get the feeling of hidden missions when I listen to the NPCS conversations? Not wearing pants said helplessly. Sylvanus suggested, shall we return to the door and wait for Shalai? Isn't the door behind us? If Shalai comes out, we'll notice. Arthur pointed to the house with the sign Special Talent Recruitment Center. What shall we do? Shall we ask somebody? Not wearing pants said as he started looking for a candidate to interact with. As he walked out, he knocked into the near passing devil. It was a serious blow, and he fell to the ground. The devil had a pair of huge, mitty wings and crimson red skin. His body, chin, elbows, and knees protruded with long feelers. He looked like a huge octopus. The octopus devil turned and looked at the fallen goblin, whose head had green words that he didn't understand. Then he exerted his dominance, causing the noisy hall to become quieter. Some creatures were unaffected and continued their conversations. Those low-level creatures, however, felt the overwhelming dominance and looked over at them. A few nearby goblins were trembling with fright and collapsed to the ground. The octopus devil thought that the fallen goblin would behave like the other trembling goblins, but the goblin stood up, ran around him, and squeezed the feeler on his knee. Greetings, I'm not wearing pants, one of those who defeated the leader of the Houndhead men, Crammer. I came from the Great Eternal Kingdom dungeon. The nearby devils and underworld creatures sniggered. Sylvanus said nonchalantly, these creatures will be part of the instance dungeon for us to kill, and yet they dare to laugh at us. They won't live long. Not wearing pants and his companions weren't fools. They could discern that the laughter wasn't friendly. Lowly creatures, the octopus devil exerted more of his dominance and extended his hand, which was filled with tentacles, towards not wearing pants. I'll teach you how to write the word death using your flesh and blood. Pa, the hand of the octopus devil made a loud sound as not wearing pants lifted his hand to fend off the devil's hand with no effect. Not wearing pants was dumbstruck, while the octopus devil was taken aback. The surrounding chatter faded as the nearby devils looked on with interest. They had seen all sorts of things, but a goblin against a devil. They hadn't seen such a confrontation before. The octopus devil lifted his hand and gazed at not wearing pants before slapping down viciously. This time, it was a fast slap. As he was about to slap not wearing pants' head, a hand caught hold of the octopus devil's hand. Sherlock stood emotionlessly behind not wearing pants as he grabbed the octopus devil's hand. Sherlock. The octopus devil recognized Sherlock.